guys, welcome back to the channel. Today something different. So my channel is fairly new. I've been largely focused on filming this LS swap in a little Chevy Colorado pickup truck. If you guys are interested in that, check out my other videos. This is my daily. It's a 2014 Audi SQ5. I bought it probably 6-7 months ago. Haven't done a whole ton to it, but I finally wanted to get the exhaust on. I've been waiting on an X-pipe from ECS Tuning for about 6 months. All the COVID supply chain delays meant I had to wait about 6 months to get my whole exhaust on. But X-pipe came in the mail, I don't know, a few days ago, and I finally have some time to get it on. So I'll show you guys the process, and then I'll show some before and after and some driving clips with the new exhaust setup. Just a note, a little more about the car. It's pretty stock. It's got a CTS intake, and I swapped out the wheels. It did have the OEM 19, so I swapped out the wheels for these 20-inch Audi peelers. Outside of that, car stock, and I'm excited to get it a little bit louder. From the factory, these things are super quiet. The supercharger sounds good, but the exhaust is too quiet. So definitely excited to get to hear what this thing sounds like with an exhaust on it. Okay, so this is one piece of the exhaust for the SQ5. This is ECS's resonator delete pipe, X-pipe, I guess, as well, because it's got the little crisscross built in. The reason I bought this in combination with the MagnaFlow is because the MagnaFlow system actually has you, it's only really a resonator back system, so it actually has you cut off the factory mufflers and then you clamp the MagnaFlow system on. For mine, I really wanted to try to leave the factory exhaust in one piece, just in case I ever want to put it back on, if I sell it, or whatever else, right? I always think it's good to not hack up your stuff, especially on a nicer, newer car. So I opted to get this instead. This will basically replace the factory resonator and then mate up with my MagnaFlow system. I don't know if it's going to mate up perfectly, so that will remain to be seen. Like, I don't know if the cut mark on the X-pipe, or on this X-pipe, will mate up perfectly with where MagnaFlow would want you to make the cut on their system. So I may end up having to make a few modifications if it doesn't fit perfectly. But yeah, I thought this was cleaner, and also deleting the resonator should give me a louder system. So this is the ECS X-pipe. I will let you guys know how it fits and how it sounds. Alright, so here's the exhaust I am running on the SQ5. This is a MagnaFlow system. I don't know the model number. I can find it if anyone needs it for any reason. I don't think MagnaFlow makes this system anymore, and I wasn't really sure what system I wanted to go with, but long story short, for the SQ5, there's not a ton of options, and a lot of the options are very expensive. Like an AWE system, for example, I think it's like a catback system is somewhere around $2,000. Those are super high quality systems. I've had their products before. They make great stuff, but I didn't want to spend that much. So looked around a little bit, ended up finding one of these locally. One of the things I really like about it, which not all the systems do this, is it keeps the factory exhaust valves. You basically take the motors from the OEM mufflers and then you bolt them on here. This system requires you to cut your factory exhaust, so I like the fact that I could go with an X-pipe and then not have to modify my factory exhaust as well. So it's valved, looks good. When I got it, this system was pretty dirty, in decent shape. They obviously, MagnaFlow didn't use stainless for all of it, which is why some of it's a little bit rusty. But the tips, for example, are stainless and they look like crap. I'll show a quick before and after. Little quick tip, this stuff, this Brasso polish, you can buy it pretty much anywhere. Someone had recommended to clean aluminum. I used it on aluminum, wasn't super pumped, it was kind of okay, but I used it on these tips and it did wonders. I mean, I'm extremely impressed at how much that stuff brought the shine back. I mean, you can see it's basically like a mirror. So super happy with how they turned out. Just a little bit of elbow grease. They should look pretty good on the car. So I'll show the process of getting this installed shortly. So what you guys just saw me do was put the valves on the new exhaust. These come off the factory exhaust just with three little nuts holding them on. Basically you just take them and you put them on here, you make sure this groove matches up in the valve, and then you bolt them down. This one you guys saw me put on, super easy to get on, no issues. This one I was racking my brain and could not figure out why the little bar here would not line up with the groove in the valve. Then I noticed down here there's these little holes at the bottom, and it looked like you can actually clock this whole thing. So I actually took these 3 screws out, and that's exactly what I did. I just clocked it one hole to the right. Clocking that the right, one hole to the right allows the bar to line up perfectly in that groove. So anyone doing a MagnaFlow exhaust on their SQ5, if you can't get your little valve motor on properly, that's probably why. Just take those 3 screws out, clock it, and you should be good. So now that the motors are on, I have to get this one quickly bolted on. I am going to throw the X-pipe in and then throw the exhaust on. So should, fingers crossed, be pretty quick from here on out. Alright, here's the setup from underneath. So these are the factory downpipes coming down here. This is where the ECS X-pipe starts. And then you can see the X-pipe comes back, it bolts into the factory hangers there. And then let's see, X-pipe keeps going back. This is where the X-pipe and the MagnaFlow meet. I was really concerned about this point not being correct on both of these exhausts, and it matched up like 100%. I don't actually know how much of the ECS pipe is in here, but it definitely is enough for the clamp to clamp down pretty solid. So that's where those two meet, and then you can see each muffler out the back, and I'll show a view from the back too. But overall, this was really straightforward. Again, I was really worried that these two weren't going to mate up in the right spot, but luckily they did, so it made this job a lot easier. Hey guys, so that wraps it up for the exhaust install on the SQ5. Overall, I'm super happy with the system. You know, it's probably hard to tell in the sound clips, but hopefully that gives you guys a perspective on how it sounds. I don't have any clips of the before, but I can tell you it sounds way better than it did before. Overall, the tone is great. With windows up, just cruising, it's barely noticeable, and then when you get on it, you get the you know, nice exhaust tone along with the supercharger whine, and you get a nice little pop after each shift, kind of like a DSG fart, so that's obviously welcome as well. There will be more SQ5 content to come. The next one is probably going to be lowering springs. So that wraps it up for this one. Thanks for watching, guys.